My name is Jordan Baldrige. I live in Millersville, Pennsylvania, and I like to think of myself as an inventor, a machine builder. Alright, so my invention is a coffee stirrer. It allows you to mix your cream sugar, stir it up, and then sip it right now, even though your coffee may be 180 degrees, plenty to scald and burn your mouth. It's how it works, roughly, is you suck on the straw like normal, it pulls air in, it pulls a hot coffee up, and through some dynamic physics, it extracts the heat out of the liquid just before it gets to your lips. So no matter how hot the liquid is, it will not burn your mouth just before it gets to your lips. What we would like is $100,000 to continue our development in some other markets. And in exchange for that $100,000, we're willing to give up 20% of our income. Well, the reason why this is a good investment is not only is coffee stirrers a multi-billion-dollar a year industry, and there's absolutely zero competition of cooling straws out there. There's multiple industries this can go into. For one, it can be incorporated into a travel mug, to where the straw will be incorporated in the mug, you flip the lid, drink it like normal when it was cool enough. You elderly, instead of having an expensive RN, spoon feed an elderly person, now you could have a slightly larger stall, drop in some tomato soup, give it to an elderly person, the RN can go do something more expensive. It could also be incorporated into things like a baby's bottle. So a mother freezes some breast milk in the freezer. The big scare is when you warm up the microwave that it's not going to be too hot for the baby. This could easily be incorporated into a baby's rubber nipple, and no matter what the temperature of the liquid in the bottle was, you would not burn the baby's mouth. So when I was younger, I had a worst case scenario teacher. She called me dumb, stupid, and she absolutely crushed who I was. And I gave up on school. And the only thing I then cared about was dirt bikes. I wanted to grow up and be a motocross racer. And that's what I did. I gave up on school and just worried about dirt bikes. Though when I had to work on my dirt bike, I realized that I really understand physics and I enjoy it. And the first concept that I made to prove that my theory works is a crude carburetor. This is kind of how a carburetor works. It's a cross between a carburetor and an airplane wing. So ultimately, it showed me that maybe she was wrong and I had something to offer the world. And it's interesting how it went from I gave up and I got a hobby to now that hobby is going to come back and I'm going to be able to prove to the world that Mrs. Miley was wrong about me. Some of the hardships that I've had working on this has not only been the patent process, has been extremely frustrating. They didn't believe me that it would work. It was extremely expensive every time I had to argue that it does work. And I would also say some of the hardships was I knew that the physics did work in the very, very beginning, about 8 years ago when I first had the idea. But the hard part was to be able to make it for fractions of a penny. Initially, I had very elaborate, many moving parts. Sometimes there's even some special materials in there. Probably the hardest thing I had to overcome was I need to be able to make something that would cool literally boiling water before it got to your lips for literally, no exaggeration, 1/10 of a penny each. I probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000 to 3,000 prototypes. Most of them failed and beyond failed. So how I came up with this crazy idea in the first place was I was at a gas station, I got hot coffee, I drank it a little too soon and completely scalded my mouth. And right then I had that little 3-second video clip in my head of the physics working and how I could extract the heat out of that hot liquid. So I rushed right home and I made this guy. The hot liquid comes in here, my dust buster is attached here, and I have my thermometer in here so I could see a before and an after. And it did work. It proved that my theory works. Initially, I thought it was going to be a coffee lid. I made this lid, the same exact theory you just saw. but unfortunately it's not idiot proof. If you don't drink it in the right sequence, you'll burn your mouth. So I had to come up with something better. Thousands of prototypes later, it slowly morphed into a straw. And then I needed to prove that this straw could be mass produced. So I made this machine. It's made out of some plexiglass windows, the gearbox out of my daughter's pink Barbie Jeep, a normal home drill, and the springs out of my son's Nerf gun. The unfortunate thing with this is it's an ugly machine and it makes ugly straws. So to present this straw, I had to make much nicer looking straws. So I'll come over here and show you what I came up with. I have my shop vac. I apply a vacuum here. I put a little heat in the area that I need to, and I will shrink wrap the shape that I need on this straw. So I'll put the shape that I need in the straw first, stick it in the hose, put a vacuum on it, use a little heat. Here we go. Got my restriction, got my old faithful leather punch, pop a hole in right there, safety first, and let's go drink some boiling water. There we go. So the ultimate goal for this invention of mine is to dominate the $6 billion a year industry. To me, it blows my mind that we call these coffee straws. Today's coffee straw, you cannot drink hot coffee through a coffee straw. I mean, why do they even call it that? So ultimately, I want people to say, hand me a coffee straw, and they will hand you a SureSip straw. Or do I?
Yeah, I'm going to. Get your hand over there.
So there's many possibilities that this can be applied to, and all those industries are multi-billion-dollar-a-year industries. So it's, no matter which way you turn, there's money.
What about investors investing in you personally?
Well, the reason why I am a good asset for this product is because I want it more than I want to breathe. I want it more than I want to eat. I have thousands and thousands and thousands of hours logged in, dedicated to this. I've spent more money than I should have in my whole patent process when I didn't have the money to spend on it. My family had to sacrifice a few things, and I'm all in. All my chips are in, all my cards are exposed, and this has to work for me.
What are you asking investors for?